Did you know that in Re:Zero, there is one thing that Reinhardt is worse at than everybody else, including Subaru? Several times throughout the story, it has been made clear that Reinhardt is undoubtedly the strongest character in the Re:Zero world. This is mostly because he has the ability to receive any divine protection he can think of, and also because he is so talented that he can outmatch anyone at almost anything. However, it was revealed that when he was born, Reinhardt was born with a defective gait, which made it so that he was only able to absorb mana, but is unable to release it to cast spells. To avoid the accumulation of mana in his body eventually unaliving him, Reinhardt instead uses the mana he accumulates to boost his physical attributes, making him stronger and saving his life. However, during a Q&A, the author of Re:Zero revealed that the one thing that Reinhardt lacks that everybody else has is the ability to actually cast magic spells, and he states that Reinhardt is actually completely unable to use magic, and that in terms of mana level, Reinhardt is last by a large margin, even falling behind people like Subaru, Otto, and Petra. Did you know that in Mushoku Tensei, Rudeus can't do something basic that almost everybody else can? Despite being a prodigy in all things to do with magic, Rudeus is mediocre in anything physical like swordplay because he lacks the ability to do something important. This was first brought to his attention after his duel with Badigadi, as the Demon King would sometimes stop by when Rudeus was doing his sword training. However, one time when he stopped by, he pointed out that he found Rudeus's training fascinating, but he thought it was useless. When asked to elaborate, Badigadi explained that Rudeus had an extraordinary amount of mana, but he never used it to cloak himself in battle aura. When Rudeus heard the term, he asked Badigadi what it was, and he explained that it was the process of spreading mana over every part of your body and pressing it tightly against you to greatly enhance your physical ability and strength, and every swordsman saint class or above used it in battle. However, when Rudeus tried to do it, he failed, and Badigadi explained why he couldn't, saying there were rare cases where people could not use any battle aura at all. Did you know that in Mushoku Tensei, Rudeus is actually able to cast Emperor-level spells? Typically, spells cast with an incantation would limit a spell to whatever level it normally is, as the caster would not be able to modify the spell without modifying the incantation. But because Rudeus can cast spells silently, he is able to change the size and speed of the spell depending on how much mana he pours into each component of the spell. This can change the level of the spells he casts depending on how much mana he puts into the spell. He first found this out after his duel with Badigadi, when Badigadi reveals to him that only Emperor-level spells and above are able to do damage to him, because Rudeus was able to blow the upper half of Badigadi's body off with his spell. The spell he used had to be Emperor level or higher. The spell Rudeus used was Stone Cannon, which is typically only an intermediate level spell. But after his encounter with Badigadi, he began wondering how strong the spells he cast actually were, and if it was enough to call him an Emperor level mage. Did you know that Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian was actually supposed to be an isekai? Originally, the author of the series wanted to make a series where the main female protagonist would be reincarnated into an isekai world where nobody spoke Japanese, and despite that, she would sometimes still talk to the main male protagonist in Japanese. However, there would be a hidden twist where the male protagonist was also reincarnated, so he would understand all the Japanese she was saying to him. After a lot of thought, the author of the series decided to scrap the idea because of the difficulties of world building, and he instead opted to go for a simpler high school environment. As for the reason behind why he decided to choose Russian as the foreign language spoken, was because he wanted the female lead to look foreign, and he was influenced by the beauty of Russian women, leading to the creation of Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. Did you know that the ReZero anime might be getting ruined forever? Recently, White Fox, the studio that does the adaptation for the ReZero anime, has been bought out by publishing company Alpha Polis, a direct competitor to ReZero's publishing company, Kadokawa. Alpha Polis has also publicly come out and said that they will be using White Fox to animate their own IPs, basically pushing ReZero to the side to prioritize their own shows. Fortunately, ReZero Season 4 will likely be unaffected by this change, as it is already deep into production and White Fox will likely finish the season before any changes can affect it. However, this change will have a major effect on future seasons of ReZero, as Kadokawa has 3 options moving forward. The first option is that they cancel the ReZero anime after Season 4, although this seems unlikely due to the popularity of the show. The second option is that Kadokawa sticks with White Fox, but deals with the fact that ReZero might see a significant decrease in quality, as the studio would be prioritizing all of Alpha Polis's shows. Finally, the last option is that Kadokawa finds a new studio to adapt the ReZero anime, and all us fans can do is hope that it is up to the same quality that White Fox has given us so far.
Why is there no Sin Archbishop of Envy in ReZero? In one of Subaru's final loops of Arc 3, Pedogyu said that out of the 6 Sin Archbishops, Pride is the only one missing. And since we know that all the other Sins have a Sin Archbishop, it not only means that Envy is missing, but there's not even a seat at the table for Envy as a Sin Archbishop. And the reason for this is found in what makes a person a Sin Archbishop, as every single Sin Archbishop possesses the witch factor of their respective sin. And that's also the source of power from which their authorities come from. And I think this also explains why Pride has a seat as a Sin Archbishop but is empty, as the witch factor of Pride exists out in the world somewhere, but it could be that someone hasn't claimed it and or it hasn't been found and given to someone by the witch's cult yet. It is also possible that there is a person with the witch factor but they haven't joined the cult yet. As for Envy, there is no seat for it as a Sin Archbishop because of the nature of witch factors, as the owner of a witch factor has to die in order for the factor to be transferred to someone else. However, Satella never died, she was just sealed, meaning that she is still in possession of the witch factor of Envy, and that makes it impossible for someone else to hold it and for a Sin Archbishop of Envy to exist.
Did you know these 3 facts about Daiwa Scarlet in Uma Musume? First, her personality in the game and the anime is almost identical to her real-life counterpart. She is fiercely competitive and hates letting anyone get in front of her. This is most seen in her bickering with Vodka, which mirrors their real-life rivalry, where Scarlet won 3 times and Vodka twice. Second, in real life, she has many quirks that make her stand out among other horses. She gets jealous if her trainer pays attention to anyone else. In the stable, she always keeps her face toward the window, never exposing her back. She is also obsessed with proving she is number 1 and will provoke her rivals in races just so she can prove it. Third, some believe Scarlet isn't a normal horse. This is because in real life, she runs with full power without thinking, which makes people describe her as more of a street racer who only cares about going fast and leaving others behind. This very talented girl wants to become a witch and set out on an amazing journey. This is Elena, and ever since she was a child, she has been inspired by a book she read that was about the amazing adventures of a witch named Nikkei. This made Elena dedicate her childhood to becoming a witch so that she could travel the world just like Nikkei, and at the age of 15, she finally became a full-fledged witch. Now that she was a witch, Elena was able to set off on her own journey, and she would travel the world and encounter new people and challenges at every place she would visit, giving her unique experiences that she would document in her own book that her mother gave her. Each experience, no matter how joyful or heartbreaking, would contribute to the growth of Elena and those around her, while also giving her a better understanding of the world. This anime is called Wandering Witch: The Journey of Elena. Did you know that in More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers, Akari might reject Jiro? After Jiro confessed to her, she told him something that was so bad, her friends intervened. Akari responded to Jiro's confession by admitting to him that she loved him, but also telling him that it might be better if they continued carrying on as usual. But her friends knew something wasn't right. Akari's friends made her reveal her entire reason for what she was saying, and that's when Akari revealed that she wants them to not be too hasty and to think properly about what being together would mean. Even though she loves Jiro, she does not want to be a distraction to his studying due to his college exams being right around the corner. She knew that if they started dating at that moment, Jiro would start spending more time with her and treat her right. But she said that she wouldn't be able to live with herself if that hurt his chances at getting into college. Jiro was shocked that Akari had thought this far ahead for his sake, and said that once the practical was over and he got into college, he'd like them to start dating, and Akari happily agreed. Did Akari make the right choice?
Did you know the differences between every sword style in Mushoku Tensei? There's 3 different styles that people can learn, and some people can master all 3, but they're all very different, and they go to show how good the world building in Mushoku Tensei really is. First, there's the Water God style. This style really specializes in defense, with a focus on parrying and counterattacking. And they're also kind of rage baiters. Because of the nature of their style, they focus more on counterattacking, so they have to find ways to provoke their opponent and have them make the first move. Then you have its polar opposite, the Sword God style, and it's the style that both Eris and Ghislaine specialize in. This style follows the belief that victory goes to he who moves first, which also happens to be its motto. It focuses on taking their opponent down in a single strike, so people that only focus on training in this style pretty much have no defense. But this style really suits aggressive people, so I think we can all agree that Eris is basically a perfect fit for it. And finally, the most unique style, the North God style. This style is basically just fighting dirty, as it solely focuses on staying alive and fighting to give yourself the highest chance of winning, resulting in users using tricks or dirty tactics to win instead of actual technique.